What's poppin', everybody? Cerebral24, TCG Online Games with Bronzong, Necrozma, Dusk Necrozma GX. I guess we're gonna call this Necrozong, maybe? I guess that's okay. I don't know. I mean, with YouTube, Duskmane Necrozma is already such a long name, so when you have to write Duskmane Necrozma and then Bronzong or Magnezone, it just becomes too fucking long for my taste. So I don't know. But maybe we won't go with the Necrozong like I did with Magnezma. We'll see. But anyway, I opened up with Dialga GX. It's a good thing to open with. But my opponent opened up with Phantom, so that means Trevenant. So basically this turn that we have right now is probably going to be the only turn for me to use my items. So thankfully we do have a couple in our hand, so we can get them out of the way, as many of them as we can, but it's not going to be that much of a great help. I mean, the deck is still going to be filled with items. But anyway, I'm going to use the Ultra Ball, grab the Darwin's Necrozma GX. We're going to use the Heavy Ball, naturally grab Bronzor with that, and going to attach the Metal Energy to Dialga GX, at least if I have that guy open. If we can't really do shit with our items, maybe I can draw some cards. And I check my deck here. The choice is, are we using Cynthia or Juniper, but if I use Juniper, I'm losing 2 extra supporters, and that can be pretty rough, especially in a deck like this, going up against a deck like this with item lock. So I might need the supporters. So we go with Cynthia, and I have to play as many more items as I can. We get lucky, we see the float zone. This is a great thing to see. So that means I play that down. I already have it, so I can get my Fairy Tree around the board. This is important. Hopefully he doesn't see or run things like Field Blower, so that sticks around for a bit. And I really debate hard using the computer search here, and in the end we use it, but it's really painful because all of the stuff in hand is really important. Lysander is quite important, N is quite important, Bronzong is quite important. So I end up doing it. Lysander can be quite important because it's one of your ways to break the lock if they play something else other than Trevenant. I was going by the thinking here that he's probably not. Most good players run a complete Trevenant line. They don't really run any other Pokemon that just don't have the item lock, because it's obvious that, yeah, you can use Lysander or Guzma and pull them and break the lock. They just use basically 4 Phantoms and the Trevenants, and that's it. Everything else is just some fucking trainer disruption hate and shit. But yeah, my opponent gets the Field Blower immediately, so that sucks. But what he did play down there is a secret rare shit, so I don't know what the fuck is that. But it's definitely not a Trevenant, so I'm thinking, okay, we might be able to break the lock in this sort of game. We'll have to wait and see. And my opponent ends me. Normally you don't really want to do this, giving me so many cards, but you're trying to lock me out. It's going to use Ascension, get the lock, and finish the turn. But he gave me a bunch of cards here. Granted, most of them are items. I can't use them, but hey, I appreciate getting free cards, and we're going to play our own end this turn anyway. So that's nice. So I'm going to attach another Metal Energy to the Dialga GX here. Nothing really else to attach it to there. And I really hope I can get the Thomas GX attack off, because that's going to be big. We'll use our N. Unfortunately, everything I grab isn't anything that can be used. And this really sucks because Dialga GX can't even use the drawing attack. But the good news is, at least, is that with my opponent kind of, playing second, slowly, getting his shit together, it's not necessarily that I'm worried that Dialga GX is going to die in a couple of turns. So we can hopefully get maybe 2 shreds and knock out one of the Trevenants. But unfortunately, my opponent is going to use Team Flare Grunt. That's something that the deck runs, of course. I should have seen it coming when I say it all the time, that they run all these disruption cards. But once again, it's like, what are you going to attach the Metal Energy to? So Skyla, I don't really have anything else to use, so it's interesting what I'm going to grab here. Unfortunately, we discarded the Lysander, so I can't even grab that. We can't use VS Seeker to grab it. So the best thing is I am going to have to add something like a Juniper here. We're going to discard a lot of shit, but a lot of the stuff that I'm discarding is basically useless stuff. So let's see here. Are we even gonna use invasion? That's interesting. Very interesting. So I'll attach another metal energy on the Dialga GX here. And let's pass for now. I'm not gonna promote Donminx Necrozma GX yet. And then hopefully by next turn with a big Juniper, I'm able to do some shit there. Let's see. And he's gonna play down the Dimension Valley. That really sucks. He can attack for free here, but he needs the psychic energy because he can't necessarily do it with the DCE. Pain in the ass deck, man. They're gonna, of course, weaken it a lot once they get rid of Wally, but I really don't think they should have done that. If anything, they should have just banned Trevenant Break, something like that. Anywho, so my opponent going to use N again. It seems he really likes using N this game, and that helps me out. I guess it makes my Skylar turn useless, but we draw cards. That's all that really matters. I'm seeing the Bronzongs here, which is what the really important thing is, see these cards. At least if I can grab free energies with my Bronzongs, we can kind of make the game sort of unfair in his favor like that, getting free energies like that. That's what the TCGs are all about, doing fair shit to win. If I have a lot of energies, even if I don't have the float stone, we can still get the non-wings Necrozma combo and do it that way. So let's see here. Gonna manually attach another card on another energy on Dialga GX. So we are gonna get our shred off, so that's good. Unfortunately, I can't play the float stone. Man, it would have been awesome. We would have been able to use the GX attack this turn. But anyway, I'm gonna attach the metal energies with the Bronzongs on the non-wings Necrozma. And you know what? At the very least, I'm going to be able to do Shred and then next turn get my KO. He hasn't attacked yet, so his deck doesn't seem to be very consistent. I mean, these decks in general are very consistent, which is why I'm saying that they can get the lock turn 1 and shit with this sort of deck, Trevenant, but they don't really have much else to go for that other than the lock and playing things like lasers and fucking Team Flare Grunts and Enhance Hammers. That's all the fuck they can do. And they're hoping that you get unlucky, basically. So that's why I feel like Trevenant deck, it's a pain in the ass, but it's not as super busted as they make it out to be. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. But anyways, he's going to grab the Lysander with the Tapu Lele GX. But, I mean, you guys can see in his version, he's running all sorts of other Pokemon. So if I use Lysander, if I let's say had gotten lucky with Lysander, in this case we discarded it, but let's say another deck that runs a couple of Lysanders or Guzmas, because I know that I'm in the minority of running only one of those cards and then relying on VS Seeker. They have ways to just pull one of the dudes that isn't Trevenant, and then you are free to use items, and that really screws the Trevenant deck over. So this is why this version is shit, for example. Then if you go with the pure versions, it's once again the thing with that, okay, you only run the Trevenants, so okay, you're going to have the lock all day, but your linear ass strategy is just that, it's just too linear, it's too straightforward, you need a lot of luck for it to work. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, in this case, I have the advantage. I took the first knockout on the Trevenant. He hasn't even managed to do shit. Has a bunch of DCs, but no psychic energy. So yeah, super inconsistent. He's going to use a Lysander, but what the fuck is that going to do with you? I have my fucking Donminx Necrozma with energies down. As long as I fucking basically have energies on the dude, I can retreat anyway. And he didn't even attack. So yeah, not really looking good for my opponent at all. I'm really making his Trevenant deck look really pathetic. Anyway, let's use Metal Links again with Bronzong. Put it on the Necrozma here. My bench is full. I don't have much choice there, but it's good that I have the Bronzongs down. It's good that I have the Mime. I know that I don't have to worry at least of the other attack of Trevenant. His attack that does more damage on the active. And then does actual spread damage on the bench. Trevenant breaks attack, it's even worse, the one that does 30 on everybody. You only have to use 1 energy with the Valley, which is why I feel like that's what makes the decks too cheap, is that while you're struggling in the lock to get your pieces and fuck up the deck because it can't really do shit, they're doing 30 damage for free every turn with only 1 energy. And this is how you lose basically. So this is why I feel like Trevenant break is the problem. It's not really Wally, it's not really the lock that they get first turn. But anyway, that's just my opinion like I've said. When it comes to ban lists and shit, people are always going to disagree. Like I've had some people saying that they shouldn't have banned the Puzzles of Time, for example, but I'm thinking about, you know what, they make the loops with Sableye, so even if it wasn't Zoroark GX, it's unfair. Then there's things with Getsis. Getsis, like I've said, it makes sense for them to get rid of that, as long as they get rid of things like Red Card and other similar cards. Maybe things like Mars are too weak, they don't have to get rid of those. But things like Red Card is a good example. Okay, so what's going on now? My opponent, he basically retreated on his own accord, bringing out the Tapu Koko, and at this point it's just, dude, you cannot do shit. You really cannot do shit. I get the float stun on the Donwing's Necrozma, so we don't even need all the metal energies that's on there now. I use my Cynthia, grab even more items. That's great. Let's use the Startling Megaphone, get rid of your float stone. Why not? Gonna use my items here while I can. I get the Fury Belt too. It's gonna make it even harder for him. And he really is in a terrible position here. The Trevenant deck, this version that runs, let's say Tapu Koko, he's probably running things like Espeon too, that tries to do a bunch of damage with Trevenant, and then you fucking use Espeon's attack and you get the easy prizes from the devolved Pokemon dying. They're just inferior versions, if you ask me, especially in Expanded. There's ways to play around those decks. Who the fuck knows? Maybe my deck just did good against it. Anyway, we're just going to do 90 with Shred. It's too bad I couldn't get the GX attack off, but I'm basically in the controlling position here. He's really not doing shit here. Using Chorus, so I'm confident I'm not going to lose any energies either. With things like Grunts, I guess he could play Crushing Hammers, but what the hell. He's going to promote the Trevenant again, and Sullen Fear. He's going to start doing the 30 damage here, but it's kind of too late if you ask me. I mean, he can't even get a knockout next turn on the one of the Bronzongs. Has 50 damage on. So yeah, we get our big chorus here. I'm gonna get rid of your stadium too, make it harder on you. Hopefully he lost a few of those, discarded them maybe or some shit. Because even without that stadium, they get screwed too. So that's another weakness of the deck. They kind of need that stadium to get their attacks. Otherwise, they're just slow. There's no way to accelerate energies on the Trevenant, unless you run Malamars and shit. But it's just, you get the idea. It's not a perfect deck. Like if they want to have the lock, they have to sacrifice other things. If they want to have a bunch of other options, their lock becomes less consistent, less absolute, I should say. So I use the GX attack obviously in this case, and with the Fury Belt on, I do exactly 160, so it's really looking great for me. I basically got the knockout on the Trevenant. I have another free turn here to knock out this Tapu Koko too. He really can't do shit. He's not doing shit. Hasn't taken any prizes. I'm in control here. Doesn't have another Trevenant down besides the one on the bench. I'm even gonna get rid of my own stadium here maybe, or I guess we'll save it, but I guess because if I played it down, he can just discard the Shaman, and that's useless, so gonna save that when he plays another Dimension Valley. So yeah, I don't even know what to do here, taking my time, the timer started. So I'm thinking, hey, you know what, it's not like we have to play anything, let me just get the free attack. And I'm at 3 prizes, he's at 6, he doesn't have much. He's struggling to knock out my dudes. Doing 30 like little piss damage on everybody like this isn't doing you shit unless, like I've said, you know, your opponent can't do anything, they're struggling on the lock, and then you're doing the free 30 damage on everybody every turn. That's the only way the deck can win, basically. Pure Trevenant. Alright, So what's he gonna do? Attaches a psychic or a DC. I think it was a psychic. Makes no difference. So okay, you can attack. What the fuck you gonna do? You're gonna do Silent Fear? Not gonna do shit. You're gonna do the 60 plus 20 on 2 dudes on the bench? Not gonna do shit. This guy is already damaged too, so next turn he's dead as well from Dialga GX. So he's in a really terrible position there. Hasn't done shit. He needs to attack with Silent Fear now and then attack next turn to get knockouts on Bronzong and the mimes and shit and the other dudes. I mean, if he does get 2 Silent Fears, he's gonna start getting knockouts because the little Bronzongs there are easy prizes for Silent Fear. But thankfully I have a big enough lead and he has to attack a couple of times to make it work. So I'm not looking that bad either way. So yeah, the deck is strong even with this sort of fucked up pace that he's been going. You know, in a couple of turns, he could get a couple of knockouts. But then, what is he going to do? I'm not going to have any smaller guys down, and you have to kill the big guys. And by that time, I'm going to knock you out. So let's see. He's doing some shit here. And to me, I guess that might be something, but I have possibly everything I need right now. And he's using Silent Fear, doing some solid damage. By next turn, if he does that again, he is going to get a few knockouts. But Shred, I'm getting rid of your guy. And he doesn't even have a Trevenant and Prey, so he can't even get a Trevenant break by next turn. So I'm feeling completely safe here. If he gets the regular Trevenant, he can't even do shit because of the mime. He can't get the spread damage, so things are looking pretty terrible for him. He decided to promote the Tapu Lele and just try and get some very good high damage since I have all the energies on the Dialga GX. That's probably not a stupid move. I think with 6 energies times 2, let's say, he's still 120. So if it wasn't for the Fury Belt, I would have died. But because of the Fury Belt, he does need Field Blower. So let's see here. Gonna use N again, minimizing my hand. That can be a bitch. He's drawing 6 since he hasn't taken any prizes yet. So let's see. He's not out of the game yet. I top decked the Parallel City from the end, which is great. I'm going to get rid of your stadium once again, make it hard for you. He is going to get the free attack now, but let's see what's up. The Espeon EX comes down, so obviously he runs that if he's running Tapu Koko and shit. That's his plan, devolve my dudes, but at this point, it's not working out for you, is it? I mean, you don't even need to devolve the Bronzongs and I just die. So, yeah. So he does 120 with Tapu Lele. I guess I am kind of set up to be knocked out like that. And we're going to play our Parallel City here, force him to discard some shit. Hopefully some painful stuff. The Shaman is obviously an easy one, and then he discards the other Phantom. I guess simple things here. The other things are probably valuable. So going to get rid of it. Float Stun with the Lele since I can, and let's use our Professor's Letter too. Get metal energies, remove this card, this item, and get some energies. So let's see here. I don't have much of a choice to use another attacker. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to use Dialga GX here and just do Shred. It's a little sad. This is why Malamar is better, because as you can see in this case, the Donming's Necrozma was going to be able to attack if I had Psychic Energies down. Alright, let's see. So, not going to do anything. I'm just going to use Overclock and draw cards. So, yeah, we don't even need to do like 90 and shit. I'm just going to draw cards. So, hopefully I see some answers. He can't possibly end me forever. I mean, he played a couple of VS Seekers. Instead, he's going to get this. So, okay, you get 3 cards. Good for you, but I still have the Juniper at least. So, yeah. Alright. So, he's starting to make some progress here. If he gets like a Field Blower and then was able to use Silent Fear, that could have been pretty bad. I would actually lose the game instantly. He would instantly draw 6 prizes. So, yeah, the deck isn't weak, like I've said. But it's not impossible. Like it's by a razor thin margin, we should say. So he's gonna do the devolve shit here, and I guess some of the uh, Bronzors are gonna die. All of them are gonna die actually, or actually just one, since I'm running the one with 70 HP. So that's good. So that probably wasn't the best idea. Uh, but I guess if you couldn't use Silent Fear, he didn't really have much of a choice. So let's see. Right now that I have space on my bench, it's time we quit playing around here. I'm gonna use Juniper, and what I really want is to just grab something like Dusk Necrozma, let's say, or one of my good attackers, put a bunch of metal energies on the dude, and then just start finishing the game out with one-hit knockouts. All I need to do is just kill this Espeon and I win. So let's see what's up here. I do see the Dusk Necrozma GX, and unfortunately, I can't quite get the knockout this turn. By next turn, I will be able to make it. Let's see. Metal Energy number 1. Then we're going to go with Metal Energy number 2. And manually attach the Metal Energy in my hand and hope for the best. Because it is very close right now. It's basically, can he use Silent Fear next turn and use something like Field Blower? If not, I win. If not, he wins. But I even have the VS Secret, so I'm going to grab a Lysander with this one. And let's use the other VS Secret too. But he scoops right here anyway. So long-winded game, but as you would expect from Trevenant. So GG. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends. Sebro24. What's up?